Hello, Cancer. All right, welcome back. Welcome to Karma on Deck. This is your weekly tarot reading for the sign of Cancer for January 16th. Mercury retrograde shadow period. Let us remind you that we have some new energy to play with. Don't forget, Cosmo's got something to say. Cosmo is lonely. Cosmo is yelling. All right, this is for Cancer. This is you. Here we go. Overwhelmed a little bit. I do see the Eight of Swords, which is coming up. So the Eight of Swords is our card, like, for not being able to see outside of the box, like not being able to see past our problems. That is tunnel vision. You have tunnel vision. I've been waiting for years to figure out what the exact word was for this card, and this is exactly it. I've been using the analogy of look up. When I worked at Karma Connection, she had these lights on the lenses of the tube lighting in the ceiling, and a lot of people didn't notice them. There were clouds, there were stars, and I used to tell people look up, and they go uh-huh, and I'd be like, no, look up. They go, yeah. And I'm like, no, look up. And they would be sitting with me in the room, and they would look up and they go, oh wow, I never noticed that. This is that card. This is literally that card. One of the most deadly things you can do in EMS as a paramedic is have tunnel vision. Focus on the wound, the bleeding on the hand, but not realize someone's not breathing. This is you right now. You're not able to see because you've got blinders on and so many things in front of you that you're navigating what's happening, and you're not looking up or outside of the box. This card is literally your reminder to start like unplugging, because ultimately, like when your phone is acting up or your computer is acting up or your Wi-Fi, you unplug it and you reset it. So you need a reset. You need to start to function a little bit, maybe not overcommit. Maybe I mean, a lot of us right now are in survival mode. I have to admit that. And I have grace for that. And I understand it. But oftentimes we do it to ourselves. I know that, I have this thing I have to do. We don't have to do shit. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But when you commit to other people, now you have this burden on your lap and you're like, I've got to do this thing because I said I would, right? So say you won't. Say I can't. Say it's not possible. Say this is my limit, because that's where the power is in your boundaries, right? 99 PTA meetings and sports events, and well, we don't have that shit anymore, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's 1,000 things that you have to do, not quite as social as it used to be, but we get piled up. We also have the devil card, which is bad habits. This can also be substances like alcohol. It can be watching too much TV. I know I have a really bad internet habit. I like to read, and in the morning I'll get on the internet and I will search and I'll get lost there for an hour, and I need to break that habit so that I am more productive in the morning. Now, I don't do it any other time of the day, but that's a bad habit that I have. I'm like, oh, I got to get up and get ready. It's 9 o'clock. Next thing you know, it's 10:30. I've gotten a lot done. I've made all my connections and did all my little things, but it can be a time eater, and then I'm like later in the day than I thought I would be. So your devil card is the bad habits. It can also be alcoholic. Maybe you're numbing out. Maybe you want to numb out and you haven't been. Hi, Michael. How are you? I love my skeptics. I do have the dragon card, which tells us there's a delay. Okay, so this means that you're in a pause, like in one of those building moments or waiting. It's hard to pause. We put in a job application, or we put ourselves on a waiting list for a house, or trying to get approved. Those waiting moments, you can't really move them at all. And that's what the hangman is about. Filing for divorce, goddamn, it's going to take 6 months, right? Appointments are bumped. Scheduling is changed. So the hangman is all about pauses and wait. And in the meantime, Cancer has this emotion of feeling watched. Okay. Pressure, criticism, you know what I mean? There's a lot of that going on for you, so you're kind of feeling on the hot seat. We have the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is about victory. So it's reminding you that even though these things don't look so easy and you're not sure where you're going, like you absolutely don't know where the fuck you're going right now. Take the blinder off, slow down. This is how you wreck. Now, my best friend taught me a very important lesson about this card. I'm one to dive in. I'm very, very brave. I'm stupidly brave. If there's something that you're afraid to do and you need someone to do it, I'll jump in just because it's fun and exciting, and who cares if it's dangerous, right? But sometimes I make these decisions, like moving here, for example. I was supposed to be going to Miami. I just jumped, didn't have a plan in play, and I went. Now, that's extremely valuable because I'm brave and I'm not afraid of anything. So I'll jump in and do stupid stuff, and I'll break barriers and I'll do all that. But there's danger in this. My best friend told me, she said, listen, you can go as fast as you want. You can't go 120 down Main Street, right? There's a stop sign, there's pedestrians, there's traffic, and there's lights. But when you're on the freeway, you can go 100, you can go 120, you can go 80, you can go 90. But what do you do when you're on the freeway? You can still go fast. Just watch for curves in the road, pay attention to weather, be safe with other traffic, and like bust it out. But here's the thing, you can't go fast unless you know where you're going. Awareness is key. Not only is awareness key when it comes to changing lifestyle patterns, like I love awareness. My ahas are amazing. Those are the things that inspire change. Kerwin Ray, one of my favorite public speakers, he says, he's Australian, and he says, disgust is an amazing motivator. I'm disgusted with my weight. I'm disgusted with my money. I'm disgusted with, my relationship, and it inspires change. However, there are a lot of things where we can be motivated because we want more rather than doing it by the negative. I'm also seeing the High Priestess. You've got a lot of major cards right now, Cancer. What I'm seeing for you is you have the Justice card, just like Gemini did. You have the High Priestess, the Emperor, the Temperance, the Lovers. You've got the Hangman, the Empress, the Devil card, and the King of Swords, and the King of Wands. All of that tells me that all the energy around you is intense. So that's the difference between majors and minors. Okay, majors are like big bursting energy, right? It's like getting a brand new car versus buying a used one from a friend. It's like just big energy. But I do see that overcommitment card that I was talking about. It's funny that it shows up because I highlighted it. You also have this internal struggle where you're trying to find balance. So balance is key for you too. Like you can't swing that pendulum too far one way or the other. And the trick is to find that little swing in the middle where things stay more mellow and you watch for those crazy signs. I do also see that Cancer, I got to get quick on my time here. Okay, so Cancer is got this feeling of self-reflection. You're looking at yourself. Now, this can be great. This is that self-awareness I was talking about. However, be careful that you're not self-critical, because that can be limiting. For the first time in my life, I'm at a place where I'm like, let's go get it, girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm super positive and super playful, and I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, come on, girl. Let's go, cutie. Like my positive self-talk's pretty amazing. What is your self-talk looking like? Because this is right here what's going on for you. And if you don't like how you're talking to yourself, well, change your language, right? Change your language. Watch your mouth when you're talking to yourself, because no one's going to talk to you better than you do. And you can't expect better from others than you're treating yourself, right? But this card right here is self-reflection. I also see leadership. This is isolation and single-mindedness. This is you going out and taking leadership and being very direct about it. I might not even get to a moon reading because this is really good shit for you guys. So this Emperor is about leadership, speaking to what you want, not involving anyone else in the decisions, and making moves. This is making strong moves. This is taking shit on. I do see the Justice card. It's not next to anything that tells me it's chaotic, but the Justice card is legal matters. It's something that's binding. If you look at this here, this is something binding. So I see something legally binding coming up. Now that might be a contract for you. You both have the Emperor and the Empress. Now those are very balancing energies if you don't have them in opposition to one another. When we have the Empress and we have the Emperor, they're different energy and they're both very powerful. Kings and queens rule together. Emperor and Empress rule alone. But they're the most powerful aspects of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, both the protection and the drive. So you're finding this balance. I'm going to put this on the left, divine masculine on the right. There's your balance. You are struggling with a balance, Cancer. Find it. Find that balance. Find that middle road. Start saying no to shit. Like, don't do it. I mean, if you have to, one of my coaching practices for people that are overcommitted or have a tendency to say yes to everything is to make them say no to everything for 3 days. 72 hours of saying no. Want to go to coffee, Karma? No. And you're not allowed to quantify it. You're not allowed to say, I don't have time. You just get to say no. And just watch how you respond to when you say no. You will learn something. Do it for a day. I'm curious to see if anybody's up for that challenge. It is not easy to do, and it makes you aware of how much like accommodating you make to other people and how many different ways you explain what you're doing. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Cancer moon. This is your moon reading. Please continue. For those of you that are regular Gemini moon, this will tell you how you're thinking and feeling. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. Tomorrow at noon Mountain Time, we are beginning the Tarot 101. Tarot According to Karma, if you want to get on that class. He said, can you say no thank you? You can say no thank you. But practice with no. And then start seeing how the people around you react when you tell them no. Nope, not going. What's her problem? Or if they manipulate. Because the first time you give somebody an obstacle to something, you want to go for drinks later? Maybe I decided not to drink for 3 weeks because I want to see what my relationship is with alcohol. Maybe I don't have the money. Maybe I was drinking yesterday. Maybe I just don't want to go to a bar. Maybe I don't want to drink at all. You know? I don't know. I'm not drinking. I got this whole conversation about your whys. Your whys aren't necessary. They're not. It's a beautiful practice too, because you start to learn to stand on your own 2 feet more so in conversation in general. So instead of being like, no, I'm not sure if I want to go, you just go, no, thank you, though, have a good time, right? You don't get to tell them anything more about what you're doing. It's beautiful. So anyways, so Gemini or Cancer Moon, here's what I'm seeing for you, Cancer Moon. You're still quite overwhelmed, deep-seated fear. I see the Moon card and evidence, like you keep making these lists. If you look here, we've got the Moon card and the Hermit, which is evidence. He's gathering details, data, and I'm losing my iPad. It's going to die. So I have evidence. So you're like making lists and writing things down and looking at all this evidence, and you're kind of holding it up over your head. And you know what? Come from gratitude. Write down, combat that, and write down all the things that you're grateful for. And I promise you that shit will change. I do see some new beginnings for you. I also see emotional expression. You're having a hard time expressing your emotions. If you look here, we see a little bit of overwhelm. And then we have the Knight of Cups, which is feeling emotional and not exactly outburst, because you're going to waffle from feeling like you're about to lose your shit and then almost losing it and then being like, nah, it's not worth it. So instead of being like fully expressive and having EQ, you're feeling these emotions and you're practicing a little bit with how that goes. I don't know who it is you owe an apology to or who owes an apology to you, but I see also this Two of Pentacles, which is this indecision of whether you want to accept it. Okay. I'm also picking up the Strength card for you. So the Strength card is pulling from past experience and wisdom and using it to make better decisions. The Strength card is using for example, I use my past as the springboard for my current position in my career. My past is my drive and my reason for doing what I do. So I have created from my past, I've created it into being my power, my superpower. So my biggest injury, my kryptonite, is now the weapon that I can use to improve my own life instead of letting it hold me back. And that ultimately is the Strength card. That's making friends with your shadow work, guys. I'm also seeing the 10 of Pentacles. So I see you working on your legacy and your finances. I see the Ace of Pentacles, which is you having your happy birthday, Orlando, which is you having some celebration coming up, working on your money. Your money and your foundation is going to get level. Why does this feel familiar to me? But I am seeing, though, for some of you, your relationships are struggling. If you look here, the Four of Cups, you want things to be back the way they were, or a little bit, there's a little bit of points in your life relationship-wise that you don't feel are matching up. I do see some celebration for you, Three of Cups. That might be a birthday coming up or a celebration of some kind, possibly even a wedding, but it doesn't feel like a wedding. I will tell you, though, to be patient. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and that means timing. And because you had the Hanged Man before, you're having a really hard time waiting through the pauses, and you have this impatience. But the Wheel of Fortune reminds us to breathe through the pauses and maintain a little patience. One more card from Mystic Dreamer. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. Please join me for my tarot class tomorrow. If you're interested, hit me up. Please like, subscribe, and play with my YouTube, guys. I would love to have your support over there. That is my favorite. And you can see the picture-in-picture reading as well. Thank you. Ooh, flowers. So your card from Divination of the Ancients is fickle. I don't really need to explain that to you, Cancer. Know what you want. If you're fickle, like I was looking at a dating app recently, because I write about this shit all the time. And the podcast I'm still working on, trying to find my partner for, is having a knowledge of what it is you want. Knowledge is power. If you know what you want, then you're not wasting time. And stop being so fickle and changing your mind. But it's okay to practice playing with, checking different things out while you figure it out. But don't be so fickle, because I feel like this is the core of some of your unrest. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Like I said, help me out. Like, subscribe to my YouTube. I got some goals going on there, and I would love to have your company. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Love and light, guys. The law of one. We are all one.